So student, in last lecture we have started the process, that is the transportation of the different molecules, particularly talking about the water molecules in a plants. So in this regards we have gone through the process known as the diffusion, and in today's process we are going to start the process known as osmosis. Now, the process of osmosis was studied by the experiment that we called potato osmoscope experiment. In this experiment, we need to use the potato, and that's why the name given potato osmoscope. Now, what we need to do in this particular experiment? In this experiment, we can use the potato to see the transportation of the molecule in the process known as osmosis. So when we do this experiment, we can see that the movement of molecule will take place from the lower concentration to the higher concentration, particularly talking about the water molecule. So water molecule will move from the different concentration to the particular site known as that process is known as osmosis. Now in this process, the most important thing is the cell wall and plasma membrane. So cell membrane and plasma membrane, these are the two most important regions. From that region water molecule will get transported. Now remaining organelles like nucleus, vacuoles, chloroplast, mitochondria, these are little bit involved in this process known as osmosis. But talking about cell wall and cell membrane, these are the two most important component of the osmosis. From these two, that is cell membrane and cell wall, cell membrane is one of the most important parameter which plays an important role in the osmosis. Now in this potato osmoscope, we need to use the potato and put it in a water molecule, or we can say the container having the water, and in a potato we are going to add the solution which is having, suppose, a sugar solution. So what happens, the movement of molecule will take place from the potato, and that's comes under the process that we called it as a osmosis. So osmosis is the process which is studied by the experiment that is known as the potato osmoscope method. Now here we have gone through this experiment in last lecture. Now here you can see cell wall and plasma membrane are there. These two, cell wall and plasma membrane, most importantly plays a role in the process known as the osmosis. Now when the water molecule comes in contact with the cell wall, it is inserted, or we can say it is passed to the inside and come in contact with the plasma membrane. Now plasma membrane is known as the semi-permeable membrane, and this semi-permeable membrane allows water molecule to transport inside through the process that we called it as a osmosis. So here the process of osmosis will take place. Now what is osmosis? Osmosis is the spontaneous net movement of solid molecule through selective permeable membrane from region of high water potential to the region of low water potential. Simply we can say the water potential which we studied in the last lecture is an important parameter in the osmosis. So movement of the molecule from high water potential to low water potential, that is the most important thing which takes place in osmosis. So here we can say the molecule of water is also most importantly required in osmosis. So when we talk about osmosis, osmosis process is related to the movement of water molecule from region of high concentration to region of low concentration. The net direction and rate of osmosis depend on both pressure gradient and concentration gradient. Means simply pressure and concentration, these are the most important factors which is useful in the water potential and the osmosis. Water will move from the region of higher chemical potential to the region of lower concentration parameter. Up till now, when the equilibrium of the movement will managed, or we can say it is satisfied. So here you can see the two membrane is given, A and B. These are the two compartment which is having the separation by selectively permeable solution. Now here, solution of which chamber has a lower water potential? Obviously, the water potential is low in a chamber B, whereas solution of which chamber has lower solute potential. So obviously it is a chamber, sorry, it is a chamber where the solute potential is low. In which direction the osmosis will occur? Obviously A to B movement will take place, because the water potential is always move from higher concentration to lower concentration. So the osmosis will occur from A to B. Now which solution has higher solute potential? So here we can say that A is having the higher solute potential. Now at equilibrium, which chamber have lower water potential? So simply we can say the both chamber have equally water potential. If one chamber has psi of 2000 kPa and other have 1000 kPa, which chamber has the higher psi, or we can say potential? It is the chamber having the minus 1000 kPa. So these are nothing but the different aspects regarding the osmosis. Now here the experiment was done. We have taken, or here need to take the water in a beaker. So this is nothing but the acid having the water. Now here the osmoscopes is there having the glucose, or we can say glucose molecule is added to the membrane, or we can say the inverted funnel, and in that the membrane is attached, and the final and initial level was considered. So here the initial level was low, and at the end the initial final level was increased. So here again you can see the measurement of the pressure is also done. So again water is taken in beaker 2, then the membrane is placed over the funnel, and the funnel is having the glucose. So initial level is selected, or we can say it is marked, and the pressure is also marked. Now what happens after a few times, or after a time, the pressure will seen on that particular structure. Now moving to the next, that is the plasmolysis. But before going to plasmolysis, we can again take the consideration of this particular point. Here what happens? Here when we put one particular type of piston as a pressure on the chamber, we can say that the piston will move on the upper face. So we can check, or we can say there will be a pressure. So to measure the pressure, we have to attach a piston, or we need to attach some parameter that will move as the pressure will increase. So here we can say that the initial level is having the lower mark. As the potential will change, as the water molecule starts to move inside through the membrane, which is the semi-permeable membrane, the pressure will released on this piston, and the piston will move upward direction. So initial level is different, and here you can see the final level is different. So initially the level of that particular glucose is low. As the concentration will change, as the movement will change through the osmosis, the level of that particular water, or we can say solution, will change, and we can also check the pressure, that we called it as a osmotic pressure, by the use or by the addition of piston on this particular experiment. So here we stop with this discussion of osmosis. If you want to discuss this particular, or if you have any query, then message me. I will tell you the solution for that particular query.